Take two entrepreneurs with the exact same starting capital. Karan uses his money to build a highly aesthetic, premium cafe. He invests in imported espresso machines, custom lighting, and an interior designed entirely to get people through the door. Mahesh uses his capital to rent a small, windowless office. There is no opening ceremony, no foot traffic, and absolutely nothing photographable. He buys basic computer terminals and hires 3 employees to process business-to-business contracts. 3 years later, Karan is tied to his counter. He's exhausted, staring at the door, and hoping enough people decide to buy a coffee today to cover his overhead. Mahesh is on vacation with his family in Goa, waking up to notifications on his phone that monthly payments have cleared. Karan and Mahesh started with the same budget and worked the same hours, yet their long-term freedom looks completely different. The divergence came down to the underlying architecture of the business models they chose to build. Karan is caught in the transaction trap. His business requires him to aggressively hunt for a brand new customer every single day. He markets, he makes a sale, and the next morning his revenue starts back at zero. He has to repeat the entire exhaustive cycle just to survive. Real financial leverage relies on a different mechanism. True wealth isn't determined by the size of the profit margin on a single glamorous sale. It's determined by how many times a single profit repeats on autopilot. We can measure revenue efficiency on a spectrum. The first tier is passive access. You see this in vending machines, heavy equipment rentals, and reverse osmosis water ATMs. The core mechanic here is isolation. You are entirely disconnecting your personal time and physical labor from the revenue-generating transaction. Instead of human effort, a physical asset acts as a 24/7 employee. A vending machine in a corporate office building never takes a lunch break, never complains, and captures a microtransaction from hundreds of employees every day. The vulnerability of this model is that the physical product barely matters. A perfect machine in an empty hallway loses money. Success is entirely dependent on securing and holding a premium, high-foot traffic location. This tier relies on monetizing the immediate proximity of a product to its user, turning the geography of a high-traffic hallway into a steady stream of automated revenue. Moving up the spectrum brings us to the second tier: massive, stable business-to-business relationships. The operations here are decidedly unglamorous. Think commercial office cleaning, hospital laundry services, and industrial pest control. In industries like healthcare or food production, hygiene is an absolute requirement. A single cockroach in a commercial kitchen or a shortage of sterile linens can halt an entire facility's operations, making these services a mandatory part of the client's overhead. This chart compares retail and B2B revenue. The top line, the consumer market, is erratic. Businesses prioritize the stable flat line on the bottom. During downturns, the top line crashes, but B2B contracts remain flat, allowing owners to book guaranteed annual income in advance. When you sell mandatory infrastructure, you bypass price bargaining. The total elimination of a client's headache converts into a guaranteed recurring asset. The apex of the revenue spectrum is frictionless scale. The purest form of this is micro software as a service, or micro SaaS. Vending machines eventually run out of inventory. Cleaning companies eventually have to hire more labor to take on more buildings. Software is entirely weightless. It has zero physical limitations. The unit economics of code are unique. You write software to solve an administrative problem, like tracking gym attendance, exactly once. That identical code can then deploy to 10, then 100 different gyms, without the original software costing a penny more to operate. This ability to duplicate a solution infinitely, without increasing operational friction or material costs, is why digital recurring revenue boasts the highest profit margins in the business world. These mechanics aren't limited to small local operations. The most powerful corporations on Earth operate on this exact same logic. Netflix, Uber, and Microsoft don't sell physical CDs or boxed software anymore. They have abandoned one-off sales entirely, replacing them with identical recurring subscription models used by the local pest control company. This reveals the core divide in how an amateur entrepreneur and a wealthy professional evaluate a new opportunity. Amateurs look at an idea and ask, how much profit will this single product make? Professionals look at the exact same idea and ask, how many times will this profit automatically repeat? You can use this exact framework as a wealth filter for any project you take on. Before committing time or capital to a venture, ask yourself the defining question: does this structure force me to chase the customer every single month, or is the system designed to bring the payment to me automatically?